Hello Internet friends, this is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions bringing you today's Tech Tip Tuesday. Today is part 2 of a two-part series about three-dimensional orthographic details. Last week we did this one with the roof ladders on the rakes, and this week I'm looking at a little more detailed one right here of the roof extension details. It's not so much about the detail that I'm showing, it's the technique of how to draw these orthographic views. Let's get started. All right, so here we are in Chief Architect. I'm using Chief Architect Premiere X10. You can use this technique in as many versions as I've been using it for 15 years. Let's look into the floor plan. Over here, I've already drawn my existing rafters that I want to see that stop at the edge of the brick here. And then I've drawn the sistered rafters that are going to 2x6s that are going to be extending that roof beyond. I've made these new sister rafters be 2x6 in depth, and then what I did was take a cross section. Let me turn the angle snaps back on. Take a cross section, and on the rafter framing layer I drew a polyline on this angle. I'm going to turn off the angle snaps, and on my framing roof rafters layer here you could draw a polyline from here to here. Let's bring that actually should come down like so. Follow that cavity of the roof sheathing that's already drawn there in 3 dimensions in your roof plan, in your roof object, and give that convert that polyline to a polyline solid and give it a thickness. Okay, so there's the one I just drew. Now, what I did was I'm going to delete this one. I created one here, a little bigger, and one here as if this were the existing sheathing. Now, just like last week, I'm going to go into my orthographic framing overview, which you can find here in your toolbars, or in 3D. In the 3D menu, we're going to create orthographic view, orthographic framing overview. I still have the ladder from last week. What I could do is, because I just want this roof extension, I'm going to select all of this ladder and delete it. I don't need that for plan view. I just drew those for this detail that we looked at last week. Now I'm going to get this into a position that I think I like. It kind of shows me what I want to see. Another thing I could do is I manually drew the fascia, which I could draw some fascia there in 3D, and I manually drew the walls that I could draw in 3D as polyline solids and actually see them then, but I didn't. It'd be easier than what I did. Okay, from here, Cad Detail from View. This is the icon on my toolbar. You can also go to Cad menu, Cad Detail from View. From here, I have my blank slate. I'm going to open up I'm going to close these sections and cameras. Open up Overview 2 here, and this is what I drew. You'll notice the difference. You'll notice some of the differences. See how I drew this wall stud and plate here. I also drew this kind of breaking in the existing sheathing here. And basically what I just did was I drew a line. Let's go here. I drew a line. I'm going to right click like so, like this, and escape. And from here, I'm going to copy this from this top of the sheathing layer to the bottom of the sheathing layer. Now this edge of the sheathing is going to go back to the line I drew, and this edge of the bottom layer of sheathing is going to go to the bottom line I drew. All of this rafter we won't see because the sheathing is covering it. That line of sheathing we won't see. And these lines will be cut by the bottom layer of sheathing. So I'm going to trim the objects in my child tools, and then the fence. Fence just simply means I can drag across here, and whatever lines I cross are going to get cut by that cutting layer. Clean this up by removing that line. And lastly, I'm going to draw a line vertical from here to here. And this, since the top surface layer is covering this bottom line here, I can disconnect that selected edge and delete it. Clean that up. Another corner to drag from point to point, and here as well. So there that sheathing looks like it's kind of breaking away. All right. Now this line, I want actually to turn my angle snaps back on because I want that line to go straight across in the same angle that it's drawing here. Same with this line here. I'm going to go straight up like that. Okay. Let's look at how I drew this fascia. I see something's missing on this. We have where the sheathing touches the rafter on the bottom surface of the sheathing, but we don't have that top corner of the sheathing. So I'm going to just drag a line, and I'm going to hit Command D on my Mac. If you're on a PC, Control D is what you want to type, and that makes it parallel. The Control D means you want it to be parallel or perpendicular to a certain line, and I want to make this line that I selected parallel to this one. All right, that's going to move the edges, and that's okay. I'm just going to hit. Now I've created X on my hotkeys to be a point-to-point move. X is something resize, I think, something else by default. So what you're going to look for in your CAD menu is a point-to-point move, or you can right-click on it a couple times, once or twice, depending on your setup, and you can select point-to-point move right here in that child toolbox or pop-up menu. Okay, so from here, my fascia is going to go to the top of the rafter, and it's going to be 3/4 of an inch wide and -7 1/4 tall. I'm going to select this edge and do my Command D. Again, that's Control D on your if you're on a PC. Make that, oh, that one. There we go. All right, that's the leading edge surface of that fascia. Now, the top edge is going to go here. I'm going to make that parallel to the sheathing, and again, point-to-point move here. Copy, point-to-point move from that corner to that corner. And I'm going to take, okay, now this line of sheathing is also the same line of the top of my rafter here. So I'm going to select that line, and I'm going to break it, which is the number 3 on your keyboard. I don't want this line highlighted, I want this line back here highlighted, and deselect. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to do the same with this vertical and deselect. I'm not actually going to delete it, I'm going to keep it selected and grab this line that's going off to the right. And now point-to-point move from this corner of my fascia to this corner of my fascia. Alrighty. Now my fascia is covering up these rafter tails, so I can just clean this up and delete them altogether. I should not see them because of that fascia. This is sheathing, so that's going to come to this surface here. And it's going to go straight down to there, so that sheathing comes out and covers the soffit. This corner, this edge of this sheathing comes out to the face. And let's just draw this soffit, or fascia from here to here. Now, we're going to have to draw another one here to continue that soffit. Let's turn on F10 and get it close. Command D makes that parallel, point-to-point move from here. Now I'm going to turn F10, the angle snaps back on, so this line just keeps going right up and continues on from the beyond what we can see of the sheathing. I'm going to draw a line from point to point here across the front of the fascia, and that snaps together, so I'm going to deselect it. Like so. Now this fascia really covers up this line here of the rafter. So I'm going to select this line and this line and trim those here. Oh, trim it one more time. And now we've just manually drawn the fascia in that orthographic view. I did the same thing pretty much with the wall, the plates, and the stud here. Technically, I'm missing one more. Let's leave orthographic on. And bring that down. Now that looks like a stud, doesn't it? And just like last week, I drew these dimensions, going to the end of this rafter extension to the stud, drew arrows, gave the dimensions and these aren't real dimensions. Like if I did a dimension line to dimension line and made that parallel to this, let's make it parallel here. It's not really a 24 isn't the real number, but it's the number I want it to be. So that's just why that's a text object. Drawing some dots as nails, and there is our second detail. I hope these details of the three-dimensional orthographic lines have been helpful for you. I draw the three-dimensional objects, take an orthographic perspective, and send to Cad View. From there you can note, you can change, you can delete anything you want. For me it's helpful and makes it look very, very communicative and understandable. If this has been helpful for you, I would appreciate the encouragement of a thumbs up. Hit subscribe and the notification bell right down there, and you'll get notified each week as I drop these videos. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, do check out my website, designbuildsolutionsllc.com, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.